Sharing screen. Is my screen visible, Nelson?
Yes.
Okay, so so any kind of doubts from previous session? I think we ended up till creating a production order, right?
Yes. Only with a
Oh,
bomb.
okay, yep. Only with a bomb. We've only created a bomb, but haven't gone through any of the processes yet. Okay, so we'll resume it from there, and today our focus will be to create the production order stages. So for that, just let me give you a brief overview. So first we'll have a look at the common setups. So our main settings are present and also all the other settings along with that are present in production control module. So just let us have a quick look up at these setups first. Let me have a look at the parameters. So here we can set some of the default settings. Okay, so we don't need all of these parameters yet, but some of them are very much relevant. For example, if you have something called complex routes, so you enable the route network. If you want to use the price estimation, like usually whenever we are into production modules, whenever we are trying to process a production order, there is a step called estimation where you estimate the price, where the system will estimate the price, and the process is really very simple. It will take up the finished goods. It will take up the prices of the BOM components, or in case of formula, the formula components, add up those prices and will give you the final finished good price. So this is the kind of cost that will be incurred in the manufacturing of that particular finished good. So if you want to use estimation, so estimation is there. And for now, so profit settings, I'll tell you later on. And there are important generals. So just as the trade agreement generals, whenever we were posting anything, so if you do remember, we have to make that general type. So here also we have few general types. We will be having something called picking list general. So a picking list of a general of type picking list must be created. So this is the type picking list general. So what this will do is, whenever the raw material consumption will happen, so it needs a general to get posted. So we have specified, okay, whenever you are doing the picking list posting, please use the picking list general. If you don't specify it here, then you'll see whenever we'll be starting the processes, it will be throwing error again and again that please give me the picking list general. So we have set some of the defaults here. Similarly, for the route to get posted, route means the list of operations along with the hours spent. So that needs to be posted whenever we are using route. We will see how to create a route in upcoming session. That will be our last topic because it's quite a bit complex. So we need a general of type route card also. Finally, whenever our finished good is created, so the finished good is also posted in a general called report as finished general. So if you have a look here, so you'll find that general also. So report as finished general. So for now, we will be having a look at two important generals, picking list and report as finished. So picking list general will tell us, okay, these are the this is the material consumption and this has been posted. Report as finished general will tell us, all right, we got these finished goods. So like all the generals, like in purchase order, we have purchase order confirmation general, product receipt general. In production order, we will be having picking list general and report as finished general. Also, these two generals will be there if we are using the routes. So these are the default general names. Then for now, there is something called accept error. So this is really very useful whenever you are trying to deviate away from the standard quantity reporting. For example, let me say my bomb was so I made a production order for five quantity, and even the consumption happened for five quantity, but somehow um, uh, the production it overproduced. So this thing will surely not happen in discrete manufacturing, definitely not happen there, because you have fixed amount of materials and you have the kind of proper bomb. But in case of manufacturing of let me say a manufacturing of mixed fruit juice, so there we will be using the process based manufacturing. So it is very much a possibility that sometimes overproduction is reported. The system will say, see, you are trying to overproduce and this is not according to the formula or bomb. So you can do that in bomb also. So we will have to click on the accept error, so it will accept those discrepancies and you can carry on forward. So these are some of the important setups. Capacity plan is something when we'll be talking about resources in the route. So we'll talk about that later on. Standard update, automatic update. So these are the some of these defaults. You'll understand these defaults once we know the basic production processes, because right now you'll be confused what is flushing principle and all. We'll talk about that later. So standard update, automatic updates are some of the things. So finite capacity means when we will be using routes, so route on the route, we will be tagging a resource. So what kind of resource it is? So is it having a finite capacity? For example, if we have designated, okay, this resource can work for 4 hours a day. So if you select the finite capacity, it will work only for 4 hours and it will update the capacity reservations according to 4 hours. If you select infinite capacity, it means you can make use of that resource 24/7, 365. So some sort of settings are these. Right now, we don't have to worry about any of these settings right now. Just keep in mind there is something called packing list general where we will see the raw material consumption. There is something called report as finish, where finished goods will be reported, and you will be having the list of status. So this also you needs to keep in mind. So you can see we have various status in the production order. We have estimated, we have created. So for now, what is this doing is, for example, estimated. If estimated is, if your production order is at estimated stage, what stages can it revert back to? I mean, what buttons more can be enabled? So if you select created, it means you can take you can if you select this one, it means the created button will be visible once your production order is estimated. Similarly, this one, if you have released and if you have enabled all of these, means all of these buttons will be enabled. If I disable this and click on save, so now it means that once your production order is released, the created button will be disabled. Yeah, but you can estimate it, you can do the operation scheduling and all. So this type of things can happen. So this will determine what buttons are enabled and what buttons are disabled, and that too here. So usually in the starting when you try to configure the system, you may be in a kind of problem, because you might be thinking why these buttons are disabled. So if we navigate to the all production orders, production orders, okay. So you can see that we in the production order tab in the action pane, we have estimate, we have release, and all of these things are there. Okay. So you can configure these systems from here. So right now, so we can see that these are all the possible statuses that our production order can have, and you can control which button should be active, which should not be active from here. Okay. So this is what it is. So right now you can see that when the production order is created, you can have a look. Production order is created. Uh, do not okay. So once it is created, okay. So we can have the estimate. We can have the estimate. Operation scheduling and job scheduling will be there. Released is not enabled. Started is not enabled. Report as finished is not enabled, and you can see it very clearly. Release is not enabled. Start is not enabled. Report as finished is not enabled. Okay. So this is like, if you do this, then you can enable all of these, but it really doesn't make any sense because your production order is created, so the next obvious step should be estimated. So this is how you set up these things. So is this thing clear to you, Nelson?
Yes, super clear.
Okay. Okay, then we don't have to here for now. I think this is enough. So once you've set up the production control parameters, then we can configure other things. So we have routes. Okay, so we'll discuss. I think majority of the setups are from routes here only. So so the shared categories, cost care categories, and all of these things we'll be discussing when we'll be having a separate session dedicated to the routes, because a lot of setups are involved in routes. So here we'll be specifying the prices and all. Okay, which operation should have how much price per hour or something like that. And we have resources and resource group that also will be tagged on route, so we will discuss it later. Yeah, one more important thing, calendars. So calendars is an integral part of Dynamics 365. So whenever you will be tagging a resource in case of routes, obviously you need to have a calendar. Calendar means calendars will determine which calendar you have tagged onto the resource. So first step is creating the calendar. Second step is creating the resource or resource group that we will discuss later on. And the third step is you have to integrate them together. So basically, you can have different calendars. Maybe your production capacity is very much nice and your machines are running like 18 hours a day, but your employees are working only 6 hours a day. So you will be having a separate calendar for your employee, and you will be having a totally different dedicated calendar, so that resources and others can make use of it in case of production. So we should know how to configure the calendar. So let me try to create a new one here. So we can create a new calendar. Uh, let me say 12 14 hours, 14 hours a day, or we can say, let me say it's just for 5 hours. So you can give it a name according to yourself. Okay, we don't have to. You can select a base calendar on which it should work, standard work. So after you just create this, you can click on working times. So right now you see we have no working time defined here. Also, if you tag the empty calendar to a resource, it will give you the error that the resource do not have enough capacity. So it means either the resource is overloaded, which means it really is not having any more capacity for today, for the delivery date of the production order you want, or the resource is not tagged with the proper calendar. So always go and check up the setups there. This is always one of the issues when you will be having while creating the route and tagging a resource with an operation. So now I will navigate to the compose working times, because I do not have any working time here. So then you can have the working time template. This is most important thing. So here, if you just tag the working time template and you click on OK, then all of your days will be created along with all of these settings. So first we need to know what a working time template is. If I click on view details, so this is the first thing that you should configure. Let me configure a working time template of 5 hours. So as you can see, we have all the days here. Monday, if I say, it will tell me from what time to what time. Let me say it's from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Okay. Efficiency is 100% means whatever the work is expected, it will take only those amount of hours. So I think this is okay. If I click on save, it will give me 5 hours. Similarly, I can copy day here, or I can just click. If you have something new on Tuesday, let me say Tuesday you are running 6 hours, so you can create that, or else I can just copy day, copy from Monday. Okay, so day is being copied. Did it copy or not? uh, I think it copied here itself. Forget about that, let me just create this, because this we have
I
to
think you
create
need to
only one
save
time.
it first, or not?
Yeah, I tried to did do that. I just don't know what happened. Just don't know. Maybe it's a kind of somewhat of a refresh issue. I was trying to copy day. Hold on, copy day from Tuesday. No, I don't want to copy from Tuesday. Want to copy from Monday. Add day, copy day. Some sort of issue is here. Anyway, let's remove this. We just have to configure these days. So let me say it's from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So once we do that, so we are done for Tuesday. Similarly, Wednesday. Let me try to copy it here again. Copy day from Wednesday. Okay, this is something else. It's saying again and again Wednesday here only. Okay, in Tuesday, I'll select from Tuesday and I'll copy it to Wednesday. I think this is the way to go. Yep, it did that. So whatever we've made, we'll just copy that. I was trying to copy it from empty. So from Wednesday to Thursday, click on OK. Now Thursday will be 5 hours. You can see we have Thursday 5 hours. Yeah, that's working fine now. Let me copy from Thursday to Friday. Okay, Thursday to Friday. Looks good. Okay, and we do not have to work on Saturday and Sunday. So what I'll do is I'll remove this and I'll also mark close for pickup. Also mark close for pickup. So this is the kind of 5 hour calendar that I've set and weekdays are off. So this is a kind of working template. Once you do that, now all you have to do is you want to create a calendar, compose working times, and we have our work template of 5 hours here. And we just click on OK. So now it will create us the whole working calendar for 1 year because we've set from date to date till there. So now can you see we have a proper working calendar. Now this calendar can be made use of. So this is how things will go on. So you can have all the values. So every day is like 5 hours and Saturday, Sunday, if you look, there will be no hours and also it will say closed for pickup. Means you really cannot, means this time is not, if you tag this calendar to anyone for Saturday and Sunday, it will show you the capacity of 0. So is the process of calendar, making calendar and composing calendar clear to you, Nelson?
Yes.
Okay, so once we do that, so I think now, yes, now we can move on to the production order stages. So we already had our production order created. So we can create a new one. So need to clear first things, important stages. First is estimated. Prior to that is created. There's nothing new here. So created stage. So here production order is created. All right, then we have something called estimated. Production order is estimated, means cost estimation is happening. Okay, so you will be having a cost estimate. Then we have release. Release means if we are using advanced warehouse management. So in real life scenario, what will release stage do is it will instruct the users to go and pick up those materials that are required for production from the inventory or from the specific location where the items were present and create a work and just put them onto the shop floor wherever the production is to be done or what operations are to be done on those materials. So it's like work is created, but since right now we are not using advanced warehouse management, so if you remember, we tagged warehouse 11. So it will take the values, it will take the inventory, it try to consume the inventory from warehouse 11 itself. Okay. So work will not be created. We will directly consume it from the warehouse 11 release. Then we have something called a start. So start means production order is started, which is a status. So production order will give you the start status. And here we can consume raw material and as well as the operations. This is the main thing. Inventory will get consumed, operations will get consumed, and production order will be started. Then we have something called report as finished. Let me call it RAF. Here, finished good will be produced. Once you do the RAF, even of one quantity, means now you have that finished good in your inventory, you can make use of it. Along with that, you can have the same settings here. So this will depend totally on the organization. Whether you want to consume the raw materials as well as the operations in the start phase, many of them prefer to do it in the start stage, or you want the inventory to reflect during the report as finished stage. Depends totally on you. You can have this scenario also, that raw material in the start or operation in the end, or raw material in the end or operation in the start. You can have any set of these. So raw materials and operations, you can either consume it during the start phase or you can consume it during the report as finished phase. But just one make just you should, as a consultant, you should make one thing clear, that you should not consume the same material twice, because then it's like it will make like no it will make like no sense. You're trying to create one sunglasses and you've consumed the raw material of two sunglasses. So that also settings you can do. So those settings need to be done, and you should make sure that consumption should happen only once. Also, you have to ask the customer first, okay, so at what time do you want the raw materials to get consumed? Like 99.9% I've seen the customers doing it in the start phase, because whenever the production order is going to be started, so they are actually shifting the materials from the main inventory location to the shop floor. So whenever they are shifting the materials from the main inventory to the shop floor, they assume that the inventory is now gone, because anyway it is going to be get consumed in the production order. And then finally, we have something called end. So end state means GL accounts get updated. GL accounts get updated. There are a lot of postings, for example, raw material consumption. Okay, the finished good posting. So what is the cost incurred? So all of those costs, all of those accounts, so all the GL updates are happening during the end phase. So these are the important stages. So I hope by now you might be having an idea of what kind of cycle are we going to run through, Nelson. Any kind of doubt in these stages?
No, not yet.
All right, all right. So let me start. So we had our sunglass production order created. We want a quantity of one. Let me create a new production order and have a quantity of we can edit this one also. But anyway, so I want it for site 1. It will ask, yes, please insert the bill of materials, warehouse 11. I want a quantity, okay, warehouse 11. I want a quantity of 5. I want it to be delivered by tomorrow. So I'll make sure my production order finishes by tomorrow, 10 a.m. Okay, we have the route, and let's click on create. So the first step is going to be estimated. We'll click on estimate. All right. Profit setting standard. So we can have various profit settings, and these are set up in the cost groups. I'll show you where. Cost groups, routes, cost categories, cost groups. So basically what profit setting is doing is, let me say a cost group of M9. So profit setting standard means 0%. Direct materials. Profit one means 70%. This is way too much. So you can set the profit settings here. So along with the production, along with the finished good cost, it can also give you on the required sales amount, the required sales price. For example, let me say $120 is what is incurred in creating sunglasses, and you want a profit percentage of 10%. So so if you assign the proper profit settings, so it will increase each and every BOM line by a price of 10% and will give you the final sales price. So the system will also suggest you the proper sales price so that you don't have to make all those calculations by yourself. For now, I'll click on estimate. Once this is done, so as we know, during the time of estimation, our cost estimate should happen. So it should give us the finished good costs now. So let me navigate to the manage cost, click on the view calculation details, and I can see something weird thing is happening here. There is something, we have our BOM lines and it is taking the value of 0 and 0, but we have $1.50 for production because of something what that we didn't knew. So this is what is. So right now we do not have any price for our BOM components because we haven't configured the production order system to select the prices. So we'll do that using something called calculation groups. Also, this extra $1.50, it is showing because of something called costing sheet. For now, just remember that we'll be focusing on the price, which will include the price of BOM lines. And this is something that you configure in something called costing sheet. So basically, the production order will estimate and take the prices of the BOM lines. But along with that, if you want some other overhead charges, so for example, right now it's kind of a machine depreciation, it's taking $1.50. You can have the labor charges. So all sorts of those charges is configured in something called costing sheet. So we'll be discussing about costing sheet at the end once we've done the general ledger and all, so that you'll have a better idea of how to configure it. But for now, can you see that we are not get just neglect this thing for now? So can you see we are not getting any kind of like a cost from our raw materials, because of which I'll assume the cost for production is coming 0. So we'll have to configure this first. So for this thing to happen is because there are two reasons. First, we haven't specified any cost on the item itself. So we'll do that now. We'll click on the item and we'll assign the cost and then we'll try to re-estimate it. So let me say the purchase price for the sunglass is, okay, let me say it's $2 sunglass frame. So this is the first thing that we have to do. And the second thing is, if you navigate to the manage engineer tab, you will have something called calculation group. So if you have a look at the calculation group, it will show you the cost price and the sales price. And this is a very important setting. So it's asking you, okay, I will pick the prices of BOM lines, but tell me what price. Should it be the cost price? If you have defined a standard cost price for the item, it will pick up that price, neglect all others. Or should I pick up the purchase price? So I've just now defined purchase price, so it will now pick up the purchase price. Or if there are any kind of trade agreements associated with this particular item, should I pick the prices from trade agreements? You can do that also. Or should I pick the current running inventory price, which is the running average price? So for now, let me say, please pick up the purchase price. In case it is not finding any purchase price, what other price of the BOM line should we pick up? I'll say, okay, pick the current average inventory price. So this is how the prices will be picked up and will be displayed onto the manage cost tab. So right now we had two mistakes. We didn't tag any calculation group, and second, we haven't specified any sort of price. Now it's also asking, okay, so what do you want? How do you want your sales price to get calculated? So I'm telling them calculate my sales price using the cost group. So direct materials and all of these things will be having the cost groups related, and all of these cost groups, as just now we saw, is having a kind of profit percent. For example, M9. So this is of type cost group is direct material. So probably, and this is default. So probably this is the thing. And let me make it profit setting standard. This profit is looking super weird. Should not be there. Let me say a profit, standard profit of, let me say 10%. Once I click on save, so now what it will do is to calculate the sales price. If I select cost group here, so it will take the material cost, increase its price by 10%, and will give you the sales price for individual BOM line. And similarly, when you add all the BOM lines sales prices, you will get the finished good sales price. So let us try to do that now. So I've done this. And if you want to specify these exact specific item sales price, you can specify the sales price here. It will pick up the sales price from the item master, but we do not want to. This is usually the thing that we do. We want to estimate some percentage and some profits. So I'll click on save. So calculation group, you should definitely know what a calculation group is. Otherwise, production order estimation, you will have no idea what's happening. So I'll assign the calculation group standard. All right. So now it will take the purchase prices of the BOM lines. Also, it will calculate a 10% profit settings for the direct materials. Now let me do the same for item. Click on edit. Let me say the glasses are purchase price of glasses are, let me say, $5 each. Glasses are a little bit more expensive. And let me say the calculation group same as standard. Click on save, closed. Now I'm done with that. Now let me try to re-estimate it. Also, we have something called a reset status. If by mistake if you have started or if you've done something wrong, so it will revert the changes. So we can make use of reset status. It will take the status from estimated back to whatever you want. It's asking the expected or the desired status is created. Yes, I want it back to the created stage. Now it's created. Also, you should make sure that this reset button will be disabled once you end the production order. End the production order means all the GL postings have taken place. Now it will not revert. So this is one thing to note. You can do the reset up until the report has finished. Once you are done with that, now let me try to re-estimate it again. So it's asking me, okay, you want profit settings. So see here we can see the select profit settings. So now we know, yes, we want a profit setting of standard. Okay, so click on OK now. Now let me navigate to the manage cost, view calculation details, and now we can see for one unit we are having two glasses, so $5 each means $10, and one sunglass frame $12. So the production is $12, but we have something else added into the production sheet, which is going to be added. Let me assume it's a machine depreciation charge or a labor charge, which is pre-configured actually in the costing sheet, plus 1.5. So you are getting a total cost price of $13.5. Also have a look at the sales price. So 10 and 10% of, so this is what is happening. 10% of 10 means 1. So 10 plus 1, so $11. Similarly, $2, $2.2. And finally, it is also giving you the that you for a profit of 10%, you should sell this unit, the finished good at $14.70. So this is for per unit, and if you have a look at overview costing, it will give you for all the units. So our estimated, so we need a 5 quantity. So for all the 5 quantities, $67.50 is what is going to be incurred. It's my production cost. Okay. So are you having an idea of how the cost estimation just happened, Nelson?
Yes, Bipin.
All right, that is good because cost estimation is something you should know. And initially, we all get confused in the calculation group. So I think that is clear. So once the cost estimation is done, and now I can say, okay, release my production order. So production order will be released, although nothing is going to happen here because we are not using some pick put type of work. Now let's click on start. Start. Just we can see start production. So the production order will be started, status will be set to start. It's not necessary that you should start all of the items at the same time. You can start partially, then you can again start it, so not an issue with that. And for now, disregard these because this is related to the route card posting. We will have a look at the picking list general. So now you can see it's automatically taking that general, so that we defaulted onto the production control parameters. Now it's taking the pick general from there. Otherwise this field would have been empty and you would have to manually specify it. And this is the most important thing, always and never. So you should do, always means post the raw materials now. Never means do not post the raw materials now. So if you are posting raw materials during start, if you are it means if you are having always during start, then at the report at a report has finished, make sure it is never, because raw materials should be posted only one time. So this will create a picking list and post the picking list. If you disable this post picking list now, then a picking list will definitely be created, but it will not be automatically posted. Maybe you want to make some sort of edits or changes and like add some more items or remove some other quantities, then this is the option you want to disable it, because you want to control what you are posting before actually posting it. You want to edit it. So, but if you are crystal clear, okay, so this is the required BOM and these are only the material that are going to be posted. I do not need that again and again. I don't need to post that. So click on here, post picking list now means picking list will be generated and posted. So what I'll do is I'll do the same. I'll click on post picking list now. I'll click on OK. So now we have an error, and the error is very simple. Sunglass frame, physical on hand. You are trying to post five, and five cannot be picked because quantity zero is present. So you remember that we've just created these two lines, bomb lines, sunglass frame and sunglass, uh, and we do not have inventory. So see, the system is throwing an error that whatever you are trying to do, you cannot do it because right now you do not have the inventory for the item. So you do not have the inventory. So first we need to get the inventory, item number glasses and item number sunglass frame. That's pretty much obvious. So you can see the errors are very much generic and you can really uh, solve them. So it's not an issue. So I'll go to the list of items and let me quickly increase their inventory. Inventory, more info. We do not have any inventory available as of now. Let me go to the quantity. So I'll quickly post accounting general, which will say, okay, we have following inventory. I do not want to go through purchase process and all, but this is like usually what you do is when you do not have inventory, you either transfer it, you receive it by ordering it somehow. Right now, I'm just posting a simple counting general and tell the system if we have an inventory of 100 now for this item. 100 is click on OK. So this operation will give us a quantity of 100 and we can consume them. So you can see 100. Also, you can see on order is 5, which means the 5 is going to get out of inventory. And you already know why. Because we have a bomb line created for a specific production order, which is waiting to get consume this 5 units of sunglass. So you can see the on hand form will always give you the exact picture of what is happening with the item. Let me do the same with the another item, the sunglass item number, inventory. Let me quantity. Let me adjust a quantity. Let me say, okay, we have this item on warehouse 11. We have a quantity of 200. Let me say, click on OK. All right. So now picking list should not throw any kind of error. We'll try to click on start again. General. I want my picking list to be posted now. Okay, do the thing. Click on OK. We can see production order started, so it's in the state as started. Also, picking list general has been posted. So to look at the generals, you'll navigate to the view tab, click on picking list, and you can see we have a picking list general which is posted, and which means raw material consumption happened. We have two lines, and what exactly we consumed? We consumed sunglass frame of 5 units, the glasses of 10 units, which is according to the BOM of 5 units of sunglass. Okay, so once you do that, consumption happened. That's good. Now we want to, so now raw material is consumed, but we do not have any inventory in sunglasses yet. We'll click on report as finished. So this is where you are going to produce. Let me say for the starting, in the starting half an hour, we are able to produce two. So you just have to click through here, which means it will give you the finished good item of two. And job you have to do only when you want to change the production status to report as finished. But what we are going to report as finished three more in future, so I'll avoid this. Click on OK. Now report as finished. Posting report as finished general is posted. So you can go have a look at the report as finished general, and you can directly click on all, and all the generals will be present there. So this is the one that was just posted. Let me have a look of what exactly is posted. And we see that we have sunglasses, a good quantity of two. So basically now you have sunglass item of, and you have an inventory of two. So even if you navigate to the item number, click on sunglass, go to the manage inventory on an inventory. So you will see that now you have the inventory of two. So this is what is just produced. Also ordered in total is one. Do you know why? Because the system knows that a production order is waiting to be reported as finished, and for one quantity. So very soon you will be having three quantities in total. But for now, if you want to make use of this sunglass, so you can only do every kind of transaction on two quantity, because available physical is two. So once we report as finished that second one item, so the first line will disappear and it will show me the inventory of three available. Make use of that. So let me try to do the report as finished again, because this is a very common business scenario. It's not necessary that all the reporting is to be done at the end of the day. No, if you have some complex production processes, maybe you are starting with a quantity of 100 and you are doing the report as finished constantly. Two After every 2 hours you are reporting as finished something, so that whatever the data is in the ERP, that should sync up with the inventory. Let me do the report as finished now. Let me say after 1 hour I was able to finish my other quantities. So I'll click here. So two and three quantities here. So it is automatically taking three because it knows that two is already been done. So I'll click on the end job. I'll click OK. So now my status will be changed to report as finished. The remaining status is ended. So we can now end the production order. Ended, and you can see the reset button also got disabled. So this is how the production happens. So now basically you have sunglass of total inventory of 5. Let me have a look at the inventory. You can see available inventory is 5. So total inventory of 5 you have present about for the sunglass. So this is how the various cycles will work in production order. Also, let me show you that form. I think I didn't show you the report as finished form. Report as finished. Yeah. So the same options were available on the report as finished also in the general section. So if you made the raw material consumption for the picking list in the starting, if you made that always, so now here you can select never. So this was selected by default, and you do not want to select all of these things again and again, then you can set something called default value. So if you click on default values, so whatever you select here, so those values will always default here, so that the user should not make error every time, or user have to select all of these things every time. So you can pre-select, you can preset these default values, and then you have to only click start and click OK, and the report is finished, click OK. So this is how the values will also get default. So Nelson, so this was the whole process, the various stages that you go through while creating a production order, what happens on every stage, and how you can revert back to the previous stages. So I think by now you might be having a good feel of how exactly production is happening on the shop floor and the ERP system. It's pretty much everything is in sync, right?
Yeah, the only thing that I'm missing is how to report, for example, if you did an overconsumption or
Okay,
if
for
you
if you are
scrap it
doing
a finished good.
if you are doing overconsumption, then all you have to do is you have to edit the quantity here. So if it is one, if it is waiting for one, let me try to do it five, four, and you have to click on accept error. So now overconsumption will happen. So whatever the good quantity you are going to provide, so that kind of thing will be
But that
reporting.
is for the finished good.
That is for the finished good. Yes. What if
Yeah,
you
but what
want the
happens
overconsumption?
if
Yeah.
you overconsume, if your
Okay.
consumption is
So
over
for
in
that, for
glasses
that,
only?
okay. So for example, you want to overconsume the raw materials, right? For that, you will
Correct.
go to the picking list general and just create a manual picking list general line. So now all you have to do is click on new,
Okay.
because whatever you are going to post in picking list means that thing is going to get consumed. Let me say you tried this is very much a case in formula or process manufacturing. Let me say you needed some few more items. So for that you will just create a picking list general and create on OK. So production, okay, so this is production order is ended, so it's not allowing me. But all you have to do is you will click on OK, and once you click on OK, you will be presented with this form. Just add your line here, add the quantity, select from which warehouse, and click on post. There you go. The cost of that material, each and everything will be posted for that production order. So the raw material cost will also be posted, that you consume this extra, and that you will definitely be able to see in the realized consumption also. So this was the estimated consumption. Also, after that, if you navigate to the manage costs, so you will see that extra cost especially posted in the overview costing tab. So right now you can see estimated and realized cost, so you will be able to see all of these things there. So right now there are some of the setups missing. So if it is something more, so you will be able to see those things. If you are adding a $10 raw material more, then the estimated will be 67.5, but the consumption will be plus 10 about that. So you will be able to crystal clearly see that you have some extra postings done. Inventory is anyway consumed, so inventory posting will be also there, and cost posting will also be there. Here a lot of setups are missing. I'll have to correct these setups before I can show you there. Okay, so this is how the things will work. So just click an extra line in picking list general and post it from there. So this takes care of your first question, and the second question you asked is what?
Uh, I think, well, the second was what happens if I produced instead of five, I produce six, and I scrap it one.
Okay, so if you instead of five you produced six, so that is the case of overproduction. But now what
Yeah,
you want to
but
do?
I scrapped that one. That was scrap.
That was scrapped. So scrapping, see, once you produce, a production order will only take care of production. But if you want to scrap it, then that is totally a different process.
Okay.
You can post something called inventory. If you have a look at the inventory, so that will take care of that thing. Inventory management. If you go to
So
the
in
inventory.
production, you cannot discard any produced item, right?
Yes, because see, you have already produced something. So raw materials are consumed, raw material costs are there. You already finished something. So till there, the production now the responsibility of production is finished. Now whatever you are doing with your item, so basically now you are affecting two things. You will be affecting the inventory and you will be affecting the overall inventory cost. Let me say you want to scrap four items, okay? So once even there is a scrap management is also present in production order, but that scrap management is totally different. So we'll talk about that later on. If you navigate to the so first I'll tell you what you have to do. For example, you've already produced something. So if you are overproduced something, if you want to scrap it, so you can do a kind of inventory movement general. Sorry, so you can have a look at various general entries and in the item. So you can post the inventory adjustment general in which you can add the inventory or you can remove the inventory, and the addition of inventory will also add that amount of cost. You can assign the cost or you can just remove from the inventory. So inventory movement general will also do the same. For example, inventory adjustment general, this is the usual general that the users post if they are having like if they want to add or remove something from the inventory without any specific process. So they are going to add the item number, they are going to add from which site and warehouse location. If you want to add positive quantity, if you want to remove negative quantity, also if you want a specific cost to be assigned, so you can assign that cost. So if I put a positive quantity of 10 and assign a cost of 20, so the quantity of 10 of this particular item will be added, and also 10 into 2, $20 of that inventory price will also be added into the inventory overall inventory price. Similarly, removal can happen. So this is what you the scenario that you take care of it. And then you have in the production orders, you we also have something called scrap, but that is a totally different thing. So hold on, let me see. There is one scenario. If you navigate, let me click on end form. So for example, uh, you are not able to report as finished all the items. A very common scenario. You wanted to report as finished seven items, but you are only able to do five. So still, the amount of items remaining are two. So that extra two cost, where it should go into some sort of scrap account or not. So that sort of thing is taken care of, and you can define in the general. If you look, so you can define uh, that method. So if you want the allocation, so where do you want that cost to be posted? Allocation means it will be that cost will be added to the finished good item only, or if you want that scrap to be posted in a separate ledger account, you can post that scrap in a separate ledger account. But this is only for that scenario where you wanted to produce a specific quantity, but you ended up producing something less. So obviously, where do you want that extra dollars to be allocated into some sort of scrap account or somewhere else? So this is one thing. Also, there is another scenario. Let me say you are producing a scrap regularly. Okay, if you are producing a let me say while trying to produce something, already you are producing a scrap. So for that, you can what you can do is during creation of your bomb. So in bomb, whatever we are doing is we are hold on, this is not a bomb. So you can add, okay, for this one, so you can add a negative line on the bomb. That is one more way to deal with the scrap. For example, I'm creating this sunglass frame, but also like I'm getting some sort of plastic scrap with every quantity. So just take that average quantity, and when you are designing a bomb, click a new line on the bomb and just write the -2 quantity. -2 means now every time these materials will be consumed, -2 quantity of that particular item will be produced. So positive quantity means your in your bomb means your lines will get consumed. Negative quantity in bomb means your that it's a kind of scrap that will be generated along with every production order. So this is how you will take care and manage the scrap processes in Dynamics 365. Is that thing clear to you, Nelson?
Yes.
Okay, so with this, we've wrapped up the production processes, and now we know the terminology and use of BOM. We know how to process the production order at various stages. So now, similarly, we should know how to create the formula item. So we'll be creating a formula item and also how to process the batch order. So batch order, we call it batch order in Dynamics 365, although you can say it's a production order. So now we'll talk about that. And I think prior to that, we can take a quick 10 minutes break and then I'll be back and we'll be discussing about the production order or the batch order using the process manufacturing. Okay.
Okay.